are using that material for the usage of learning language. I have got the message over here right now about this meeting that I have to leave or something like that.
It's just telling you that the presentation is being streamed on YouTube. That's it.
So I guess there is something technical issue with Dr. Shahiba now. Then maybe for this opportunity, we're going to move to Ma'am Hilma for the second speaker. And I'll trying to contact.
Yeah, there is a misunderstanding between Miss Saiba and also technical.
Right.
I think you need to contact her for a while.
Yeah. I'm going to contact her soon to rejoin.
She's here.
Oh, she's here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dr. Shahiba, can you hear my voice?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna make you as a co-host, then you can continue your presentation. So
yeah, I don't know. It just interrupted.
Yeah, the research, I think they just tell you that this meeting is live streaming in the YouTube. So, right. You can continue your presentation, please.
All right. Thank you. Okay. So here we were. I was discussing about the functions of materials in ELT, and we discussed about instructional material that it actually informs the learners about the language, how language is playing role. And then there is another role by that material is experiential, like when it provides exposure to the language and use, like we are composing different activities to use that language. Then the another function which material actually does, that is elicitative, when it stimulates language use, giving different opportunities, increasing confidence, increasing autonomy, increasing the way to give feedback. So language would be used, it stimulates, it boosts the confidence or boosts the different avenues to use language properly. So that material would definitely provide that avenue to the learner, teacher and learner. Then there is exploratory, when it seeks discoveries about language use in natural settings. So that would be, with the innovative ideas, it would be used. So that material which we are talking about, that we have to develop and we have to design, so we have to see how material can help us in different contexts. So what we want from that material, we definitely provide the didactic, definitely the things to our learners, but there are multiple other things which are provided by that material. So depend upon the designer now, how he or she is supposed to use it and design it and mold it and modify it according to the context and according to the learner's needs. Material design and different theoretical perspectives. Like until the early 1990s, micro-teaching used to be the popular choice. Teacher educators had in most teaching education programs, both in journal and language teaching, but as pointed out by Wright, 2011, the shift first in journal education from behaviorism to constructivism, and then now it's towards the connectivism. Behaviorism is just about the drilling system. Constructivism was talking about something which students, our learners are learning from the context as well. So the design of the material should be according to that. It should not be only the drilling of some skill, language skill, but it should involve the social aspects also. And then the material was designed followed by the steps of constructivism, but nowadays it moves towards connectivism. Connectivism is actually talking about the current era's needs, that is the computer-assisted language learning. So the computer-assisted aids, audiovisual aids, or technology gadgets supposed to be used in designing and developing the material for teaching and learning English language. So connectivism has changed the position of student teachers from consumers of ready knowledge, traditionally, which was like transmitted to them in training courses, to thinkers or reflective practitioners with technological advances. In a way, this Tomlinson edited the book that was Materials Development in Language Teaching, and that had a very little contribution about the computers, which is actually a need of the time right now, because main stand on the threshold of new generation of computerized materials for language teaching. Like students are now tech savvy. Everyone is holding Android phones in their hands. Everyone has access of that authentic material which is present on internet. So we have to provide now such environment and such designed material which really can help them out to improve their language or learn the language. The absence of a focus on computer-assisted language learning material in the collection was remarked on Johnson's 1999 as an indicator of the divide between CAL and the wider field of language teaching. In the decades since Tomlinson's book, opportunities for language learning and teaching have been further transformed by the rapid development of a wide range of technology-mediated resources, materials, tasks, and learning environment. So we can say that from behaviorism to connectivism, there is a lot different, methodologies and different adaptations being done. So material design and development. Material development is both a field of research and hands-on task, isn't so? That is, because it's not something which you solely do as you want. It needs some research. It needs need analysis. It needs to know what are the needs or the tasks or what are the wants or what are lackings which should be modified. That is not something which fits for all. That is something which is supposed to be tailor-made accordingly, like according to the context, according to the needs, and according to the wants, or according to the opportunities, and according to the resources available. You have to design and develop your material. So we can say it is a field of research and it's a hands-on task. Researchers look at the principles and procedures of the design, implementation, and evaluation of the language teaching material. And hands-on, it involves production. You produce, evaluate, adopt of language teaching material. What are actually the characteristics which are supposed to be understood? The design of teaching material in EFL or ESL education process needs to understand first the context. What is the context? For suppose if I talk about myself, I'm teaching in engineering university. Engineering students' wants, engineering students' needs are different from general university students' needs. So accordingly, I have to think, I have to mold, I have to modify, I have to redesign and design and develop, redevelop the material which I'm supposed to use. But what I'm going to give them, I have to see this also, there should be new insights. So when I'm thinking about new insights, it means I have to bring something which is currently or which is compatible with the future needs as well. So there should be new insights in that material which you are supposed to design, because the students' autonomy, understanding, comprehension level, confidence will vary from context to context, depending on their educational phases, which they have crossed so far, and experiences, their schemas. So one size fits all cannot work. The design of teaching materials requires the student, teachers to take a set of decisions, make choices, and explain the reasons for them as well. Like, this is not something which you are supposed to just impose on students. You must be clear why. The rationale should be clear. There should be the rationale behind what you are picking up and what you are choosing, and then providing students or the learners to teach, to learn language from them. This practice will grant them some autonomy in terms of making responsibility for decision-making and create opportunities, which is definitely the necessity for reflection. So what should be considered for designing the ELT materials? Materials provide a stimulus to language learning process. Like without any, giving them material, you cannot teach or learn language. So good ELT materials don't teach, but rather encourage learners to learn a language. It is not about only didactic purpose. It should have something which can boost their confidence, which they boost their autonomy, which must boost their, interest and motivation to learn language. So good materials contain interesting text, enjoyable activities, opportunities for learners to use their knowledge and skills, content which both learners as well as teacher can overcome. Materials should try to create a balanced outlook that both reflects the complexity of the task, yet makes it appear manageable. Like material should not be exactly like something which they already know. Definitely their schemas are there. They are experienced. It's not something like at adult level, they are going to learn this language first time. But what you are going to add through your material in their knowledge, that should be a knowledge, that should be a new information for them. So for that, you have to manage it properly, to design and redesign it properly, which can enhance their knowledge. That if their level is this one, they should go like this. It should not be under their level. So you have to understand their level also, because student to student, the level is different. Materials can have a very useful function in broadening the basis of teacher training. Like material, actually, this ELT material is actually providing, having different functions, which you have to understand how this and that particular structure or this rule is supposed to help you, how it is performing its duty, how it is functioning in learning and teaching language. By introducing teachers to new techniques, as I already explained, behaviorism, then constructivism, and now it's connectivism. So when it is connectivism, it means we have to bring technology into our material. We have to take advantage of this, whatever is present. But what we have to do, we have to pick and choose, and then we have to mold and modify accordingly. If I talk about my personal experience of developing the ELT material, I actually done my PhD in designing, developing material that was assisted with technology. So I designed a module that was about the reading comprehension module. It was a reading comprehension module, and it was integrated with the weblog. That weblog I designed. When I researched on it, and when I was finding out what technical or technological item I have to aid to enhance the material which I'm supposed to use for my students to teach them reading a skill, I got idea after my personal experience, because I'm a teacher in as I've told you, in a university who are engineering student. So I followed the steps of ESP design and conducted the need analysis. According to the need analysis findings, I got to know that students actually are not very much involved into reading material. Why? Because of the material was not providing them according to their context. Somehow they were, I told you earlier, there is authentic and non-authentic material. So they were provided actually the authentic material, things which were already there. They were not redesigned or modified. So there was a need to modify the material which can help them to improve that particular task or particular skill. So then after that, I got to know that students have lack of interest also. Like they are not that much. Usually we people, if we just have a survey, we can know that people are spending less time on reading. So we have to give them sort of opportunity where they can be very much interested, or they must spend much time on reading to improve or enhance it. Then I got to know that students who I'm teaching, they are definitely technological students, they are engineers. So they are very much into technology, they are tech savvy students. So then I got the idea that I have to compose and I have to design and develop such type of material which can enhance their interest, which can motivate them towards reading. And there should be something related with the technology also, which can keep them connected with that material which I'm supposed to provide them. So these many things I had to research first, as we already discussed, that material design is a hands-on activity along with the research one as well. So you cannot design and develop by your own. You have to first research what is the need. So I got to know that there's a need of technology integration in my material, and there should be non-authentic material. There should not be authentic one. Okay. So followed after knowing the problem, I got to know that the goal would be now to design and develop the material, and that material should be according to the needs of the learners. And the learners' need was to integrate technology, and the material should be non-authentic. That should be according to their context. Somewhere I was teaching electrical students, somewhere I was teaching computer system students, somewhere I was teaching mechanical students. So I had to modify my text according to their need. Like when I was going towards civil students, I must have the text which can help them out to know more about civil engineering. And then the focus was on language learning as well. So identify the target learners' needs, and then mapped, found, understood the resources which are supposed to be used for reading text, which are supposed to be mapped, and the technological integration should be there also. Then I thought that now what technology is not yet been used in the world of reading. Then I got to know that this is, yes, weblog. So this is the first PhD in my country, which I have, alhamdulillah, completed in experimental research. And that is, so I designed and developed a course which is integrated with the weblog. So I designed the weblog as well. Previously, the researches are being done, which are done on weblog, but there the writing skill is being researched and writing skill is being taught and learned by that weblog. But what I have done, that is reading skill. So this is very rarely done around the world even. So then we had to map up the assessment methods. The course which we are going to design, we have to assess it also. We have to provide the assessment activities also. It is not something which is supposed to be only taught, but we have to assess also how it is going to give us the feedback. So for that, we have to select the appropriate pedagogy, how this course, which I'm supposed to make a design, would be used for the pedagogy and how it is supposed to be used in the classroom. Mapping of instructional strategies. This is very necessary, that your course must explain everything clear. If teacher is there or not there, it should give clear instructions. Development, and then we have to develop the task and activities. So I develop the task and activities according to the need of that reading comprehension task. And then definitely there was a need to develop a technological tool, as I already told you. That was, I designed a weblog, and I provided, when I was providing and designing this weblog, I had to keep in my mind that this technological tool I'm going to use, will that give all the multimedia features which are required for reading skill? I had to keep this in my mind, that I have to provide them such multimodal features in that weblog which can help them out to read that text properly. Like I gave them videos that were aligned with the text which was provided. The text was converted into audios as well. So the audio was helping them to keep on the words which they are reading. While they were reading, they were listening also. I gave them the highlighter wherever they wanted to, highlight something, as we usually hold a book or paper in our hands and then we read and then highlight the punchlines and the ideas which we feel they are main or supposed to be, discussed later or whatever. So the highlighter was needed because it's a reading skill supposed to be learned by that. I'm just focusing on that, what I have done. I'm sharing with you my personal experience over here. But the thing is, you have to understand what features, if it is something which is technological tool or gadget used in your material, or you are supposed to use in your material, you must understand what skill you are going to teach and learn. So what multimodal features can help you out, that you have to keep in your mind. Similarly, as you are designing the different activities, you have to see what skill you are going to learn and teach, because every skill has different needs. There would be definitely different needs of the multimodal features. So all these should be mapped before designing the material. And definitely when there is any course, there would be the evaluation also. We are following different models. If we talk about ready model, it starts with analysis, ends with evaluation. Similarly, like there would be, formative and summative assessment during, while, and then pre stage of designing and developing the material. Similarly, I followed the mechanism of connectivism, connected weblog into my material, followed the EDDI model, started with the need analysis, ended with the feedback of students. And then for the integration of technology, again, I had to make it systematic So it was not just mere a use of something which was authentically provided to me, but non-authentically, I have molded and designed the weblog. So I followed the structure, the model that is called summer model. So it was not merely the substitute. I followed all of 4 steps of summer model, and then followed to substitute the manual things into the technology, augmented with different, multi-model features, modified and enhance it with the different tasks which were, very much related with the technology. And then definitely the learning was redefined by different tasks. This was the shape of my weblog, which I designed. This was the name of that weblog, Readers Are the Leaders. And I chose at the very beginning, what should be the name of that, as we choose, there is a title of the books as well. So that was a module. And these were the 8 units I provided them. So this is what I, went with this journey in a way, like I had to keep the multiple things in my mind while I was designing the task. When I was designing the task, I had to see that the tasks should be according to the lesson plans. The lesson plans should be according to the contents which are provided to them. And then, tasks should have proper objectives. So each and everything you have to keep in your mind while you are designing. In a way, this slide I shared in the very beginning, that material should be instructional, experiential, elicitative, and exploratory. So what I did, I followed all these 4 steps as well. That material which I'm going to design, which I'm going to deliver to my students, must perform all these 4 tasks. And that did, Alhamdulillah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Dr. Shahiba, for really great presentation. I think
thank you so much.
Yeah, including me, we got a lot of new things based on your experience. Anyway, it's going to be really insightful for our students that they are doing their personal project to develop or to design their instructional teaching materials now. So I think after this, we're going to, after 2 more presenters, we're going to open the question and answer session. And I really hope our students can ask you and the other speakers with some questions. And I think it can be contextualized with their personal project in designing teaching materials. And again, thank you very much, Dr. Shahiba. Hopefully next time we can invite you here to Bengkulu in person meeting.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Really hope that. Right. For the
I'm
next,
always available. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. And for the next presenter, we have Ma'am Hilma from UIN Bukit Tinggi. And I'm going to read some short of her CV. Her full name is Hilma Pamiputri MPD. She's from UIN Bukit Tinggi, West Sumatra. She finished her bachelor degree in English education from Universitas Negeri Padang, as well as her magister in English education program from the same university. And she has also experience not only as a lecturer, but before that, she was a teacher. So I think her experience in designing teaching materials for students in senior high school will also gonna be really great insight for our students in this moment today. And currently she's head of the Research and Publishing Center of UIN Sumatera Utara. I forgot, sorry. UIN Bukit Tinggi, Sumatera Utara. UIN Bukit Tinggi, West Sumatra. And right, I think that's a short explanation or introduction for Ma'am Hilma. And yes, she's now, um, the awardee of Program Persiapan Studi Lanjut Luar Negeri, LPDP Scholarship, and Ministry of Religious Affairs of Indonesia. And she's preparing for her PhD to abroad. So uh, we really hope she can, doing her program well and can get and will start her PhD in abroad soon. Right. So, Ma'am Hilma, this time is yours, please.
Oke, amin. Yang bagian terakhir tuh aminnya kenceng tuh Pak Arif. Thank you so much Pak Arif. Okay. Good. This is afternoon already. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good
Afternoon
afternoon.
in Indonesia and still morning in Pakistan.
Still morning in Pakistan. Yeah. I'm afraid that participant is not here, Mr. Arif, but thank God they're here. Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you just a little bit about my experience in doing teaching and learning process since I was after I graduated from my S1 degree up to now, after being the lecturer in Bukit Tinggi. Okay, when we talk about the instructional design or material development, we can say that it is a complex discussion for us as a students, for you as a students. My experience when I took material development in such kinds of what we call that, hard things to do, because there are a lot of things that we need to discuss inside the subject. But now we can make it simpler, dealing with your competence as the participants here as a teacher to be. We make it complete. We make it simple as a two discussion only. We talk about the syllabus and also the lesson plan. When we talk about the syllabus, dealing with an Indonesian curriculum today, there are two aspects in the syllabus. There are core competence and also the basic competence. For you as the students, as the teachers to be now, you need to understand or comprehend more about the core competence that is stated in the curriculums of Indonesia. May I know what is the core competence that you know in the syllabus, ladies and gentlemen? Ada yang tahu apa itu kompetensi inti yang dipelajari dalam silabus yang ada di kurikulum bahasa Inggris? Anyone? Aku malu nih ya semuanya ya.
Come on, everyone.
Ada Haira di sini. Ada etika nih, etika. Do you know what is the core competence? What are the core competences stated in Indonesian curriculum? Oke, nanti kita sampai ke situ ya. And also the first one is the core competence and then the basic competence atau kompetensi dasar. Itu dua hal yang berbeda. Kemudian we come to the lesson plan. Itu juga hal yang kompleks, ada banyak hal di dalamnya. Ada goals, time management, task distribution, method, strategi, material, group task, cara guru untuk memberikan tugas bersama kepada siswa dan juga ke individual task juga, kemudian sources yang berarti untuk siswanya. And then from this complex discussion, I want to minimize it into the problems of teaching that I found when I was a teacher and also being a lecturer and also being the researchers in Bukit Tinggi. Okay, the problems that I found related to the teaching process, the first is the teachers do not follow the hierarchies of thought or the taxonomy Bloom there. Kalau siswa di sini, apa yang Anda tahu tentang taksonomi Bloom? What do you know about taxonomy Bloom? Okay. Okay, I can share this one. This is a taxonomy bloom. You start from remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. These 6 terms do not allow to be unorganized. It should be organized in delivering the material from the students. It is well known with C1. C1 is remembering, C2 is understanding, C3 is applying, C4 is analyzing, C5 is evaluating and creating. Jika dilihat dari silabus yang ada, untuk anak SMP dan anak SMA biasanya itu hanya di level C1, C2, C3, C4, maksimal C4. Belum ada sampai ke evaluating dan juga creating. Itu yang dilihat dari silabus yang ada. Jadi ketika memberikan informasi kepada siswa atau delivering the material to your students, you have to stick to this process. Harus memberikan informasi, memberitahu mereka terlebih dahulu, kemudian buat mereka paham, kemudian buat mereka bisa menerapkan materi itu, menerapkan pembelajaran tersebut, kemudian bisa menganalisanya. Nah, that was the problems in teaching. Kalau seandainya guru tidak memproses itu, tidak mengikuti hierarki yang ada, yang terjadi apa? Banyak siswa yang akan keluar masuk ke dalam kelas. Kalau siswa di sini, mahasiswa di sini kenal enggak istilah si Pak sibuk, permisi Pak, sibuk. Ya, kenal dengan istilah itu enggak? Atau itu hanya untuk Sumatera Barat? Ada di sini Pak Arif, si Pak sibuk itu Pak Arif?
Si Pak sibuk.
Pak means permisi Bu. Jadi mereka easy to go out when they don't know understand about the material or the hierarchy is not in a good arrangement, maka siswa akan keluar masuk ke dalam kelas dengan mudahnya. Itu karena mereka bosan mendengarkan penjelasan dari guru. Karena pernah kita lihat when I did some research in several schools in West Sumatra, even the professional teachers did the same with the student, my student in campus. Membuat lesson plan-nya itu mulai dari menganalisa. Bisa jadi ketika dia masuk kelas, mungkin anak-anak, Ibu sekarang sedang ada rapat, coba buka buku hanya halaman 36, kemudian analisa tugas, ya, analisa gambarnya, kemudian bikin kesimpulannya misalnya. Itu hal yang membuat siswa bosan dengan pembelajaran, dia tidak mendapatkan ide baru dalam pembelajaran karena guru tidak menerapkan hierarki ini dengan sebaik-baiknya. Alangkah baiknya kalau seandainya guru memulai dulu memberi informasi kepada siswa terlebih dahulu, make them knowing the material, and then make them comprehend the materials, and then make them apply the material, and then analyze the material. Hanya sampai di situ saja keinginan pemerintah untuk level SMA untuk bahasa Inggris baru sampai di analyzing. Kalau di atasnya lagi bisa dia sampai ke ke evaluate dan juga create, itu lebih bagus. Tapi minimal untuk sampai level SMA itu hanya sampai ke menganalisa saja. And then the second problem that I found, this one, the teachers do not integrate the divine values, the social values, and the skills competence in their teaching learning process. The teacher on the competence on this, on taxonomy bloom. The teacher's focus is only delivering the material to the students. They forgot about the core competence that is exists in the syllabus, that is exists in the curriculum. Tidak ada penyampaian divine values, nilai ketuhanan, nilai sosial, dan juga tentang keterampilannya. Fokus, kebanyakan guru-guru itu hanya fokus ke dalam menyampaikan materi saja. Di dalamnya lupa menyampaikan hal ini. Kemudian problem berikutnya itu adalah do not use the times of teaching properly. Bisa saja terlalu cepat atau terlalu lama, atau artinya kalau 2 kali 45 menit guru tidak 2 kali 45 menit, ada guru yang menganggap waktunya terlalu banyak, ada juga menganggap waktunya itu terlalu singkat sehingga dipakai jam mata pelajaran lain. Ini aja menjadi masalah besar ketika guru tidak bisa memanage ini dengan sebaik-baiknya. So ini harus kita cegah ini, agar terjadi kebaikan, agar terjadi tercapai tujuan pembelajaran sebenarnya. Sehingga yang kita tahu bahwa untuk sebenarnya pembelajaran bahasa, what is the functions of learning English subject at school? Can you hear my voice?
Yeah, we can hear you clearly.
Oke, dalam pembelajaran bahasa Inggris pada dasarnya itu adalah untuk menentukan atau membentuk karakter berbahasa. You need to form politeness characters, form the politeness character. So the politeness character is stated in the curriculum. Walaupun bahasa KI-nya ini KI 1, KI 2, KI 3, KI 4-nya begini gitu ya, pada dasarnya pembelajaran bahasa Inggris itu adalah untuk membentuk karakter berbahasa. Jadi ada di dalamnya siswa menghayati dan mengamalkan ajaran agama yang dianutnya, menghayati dan mengamalkan perilaku jujur, disiplin, tanggung jawab, peduli, gotong royong, santun, responsif, proaktif, menunjukkan sikap sebagai bagian dari solusi atas berbagai permasalahan dalam berinteraksi secara efektif dengan lingkungan sosial dan alam, serta dalam menempatkan diri sebagai cerminan bangsa dan pergaulan dunia. Jadi intinya kalau kita lihat lagi KI 1, 2, 3, 4 ini pada dasarnya adalah untuk membentuk karakter berbahasa. Dan apa akibatnya kalau seandainya karakter berbahasa itu tidak terbentuk? Nah, ini dia hal yang terjadi di sekolah. Siswa akan keluar masuk ke dalam kelas dengan seenaknya. Kemudian ketika tidak disampaikan moral values ke dalam mata pelajaran kita, ke dalam pembelajaran, ini yang terjadi bahwa ada siswa yang melawan gurunya, melihat gurunya dengan tatapan yang sangat menjengkelkan, membosankan, ingin ini tidak layak untuk diperlihatkan ya, tapi ini untuk jadi pembelajaran. Makanya saya ini silang-silang ini semuanya ya. Jadi ini yang tidak boleh ditiru ya. Nah, ini yang mau saya sampaikan sebenarnya ini adalah dalam instructional design. Kalau masalah tentang C1, C2, C3, C4 sampai C6 itu mudah untuk dipelajari karena itu banyak bukunya. Tapi ini yang harus disampaikan karena untuk belajar bahasa itu pada dasarnya adalah untuk membentuk karakter kesantunan berbahasa. Dengan berbahasa yang santun akan mendatangkan keharmonisan dalam pergaulan. Kesantunan berbahasa juga akan menunjukkan jati diri seseorang, juga sebagai alat untuk menunjukkan etika, strata pendidikan, serta pemahaman seseorang terhadap agamanya. So this is the key functions of learning English at school. And for elementary school students, for senior high school students, or even the junior high school students. Okay, and then I would like to close this by saying this one. Menantu idaman adalah sarjana pendidikan bahasa Inggris. Why do I say so? Karena kita bisa mengintegrasikan keempat hal ini dalam pembelajaran, ya. Kalau ada orang yang bilang bahwa menantu idaman itu orang akuntansi, orang apa lagi ya, orang hukum gitu ya, atau orang Bengkulu, nah itu benar, itu tidak salah, tapi ini yang paling benar ini. Menantu idaman adalah sarjana pendidikan bahasa Inggris, ya. Jadi tetap dijaga kesantunannya, mulai dari diri sendiri dulu, dilihat dari mana, dari cara berpakaian, cara berbicara, cara berpikir, cara bertindak, dan segala macam. Oke. And then the way complete. Kalau dalam pembelajaran atau menjadi guru itu ada 4 kompetensi yang harus dipahami seorang guru, yaitu kompetensi personal, pedagogik, sosial, dan juga profesional. 4 kompetensi ini untuk sukses sebagai manusia pun juga ada ini. Yang kita rangkum dari mana? Dari core competence yang ada di dalam silabus di kurikulum Indonesia. That is the divine values, the social competence, the cognitive competency, and also the skillful competence. Skillful competence means you have to do something in a quick time, in a short time. Do not waste your time in doing something. Just do it in a short time. So this is the thing that I want to deliver about the teaching material development. I'm sure that the material about the syllabus, about the lesson plan is already given by the fabulous lecturers in your class, but the things that almost forgotten by other people, that's why I need to tell you that what we call just now the form politeness of character, to form the politeness characters of the students, and you as the teachers need to be formed from now on. So thank you, Mr. Arif. This is the end of my speech. Then thank you so much.
Okay, so thank you very much for really insightful presentation from Ma'am Hilma from UIN Bukit Tinggi, Sumatera Barat. And right, ladies and gentlemen, and especially Sir Zulfikar, because Dr. Shahiba now, she's going to university to give a lecture in 11 in Pakistani time. So I think now we're going to open answer a session, question and answer special for Dr. Shahiba first, and we're going to move to the third speaker. So is it okay?
Sounds good.
All right. So thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Right, ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to open question and answer session for Dr. Shahiba to our students. And ladies and gentlemen, please, if you have a question, you can ask her directly, or you can type it in the chat. If you don't mind, I will read it if you don't want to speak directly to Dr. Shahiba. Yes, please. All right, students, ladies and gentlemen.
Ask questions, sir.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Ma'am Rahmawati, right. Yes, please, ma'am.
I would like to ask a questions. How to develop materials when we have set, when we have met the expected results and assessment. So I think it will be different from material development that we had before. I mean, like the structures are quite different. I have typed the questions to Mrs. Sahiba.
Okay, so I got your question first, and
yes.
I tried to reply you also. Well, your question was that how can you develop material and expect results and assessment accordingly, right? Is it the question?
Yes.
All right. I told you that, and you said that in Indonesia it would be difficult to, integrate technology maybe into your material. Is it so?
Yes. Also,
yeah, you can.
We are going to implement new curriculum development from Wiggins. It is understanding by design. So that we started the development from expected results, and then we make the assessments, and after that we try to develop. We are going to design the steps for the teachings.
All right. See, when I was presenting, I told you that I followed the mechanism of ADDIE model while I was developing, designing my material, right? ADDIE model's first stage is analysis. It's about assessment, evaluation. ADDIE model's last stage is evaluation. Whatever you have developed so far, how it is going to be evaluated, how it is going to give you the results. Is it so? Like, yes. Whatsoever you are designing, definitely it will go through the process of evaluation and assessment. Like what you want to teach, you have to evaluate and assess also. It can be formative assessment, it can be summative assessment. It would be at the time while you are thinking and just mapping the ideas and the resources to develop or organize your material. So you have to analyze and assess and evaluate what is supposed to be taught with this material which you are going to develop. Accordingly, you have to give the assessment activities assessment criteria that you have to decide. Whosoever is going to design and develop the material would definitely in the very beginning, at the pre-stage, would decide about the evaluation process as well. So the things which you are going to design would be evaluated. So decision is supposed to be taken at the pre-stage. At the next stage, while you're designing it, the procedure of organizing and designing, you have to map up the activities. You have to map up that sort of test in that particular course which you are designing. As Ma'am Hilma has already explained about the Bloom's taxonomy, I also followed that while I was designing different activities, followed by my lesson plan. So that would be decided at the stage while you are making up the resources and sources and mapping up the taking into account the objectives, what you are supposed to do, what is supposed to be learned by this material. So the assessment criteria and assessment strategies would be decided and designed during the design of the material. That would be followed, whatever the criteria you have been assigned according to the curriculum. As you told that in Indonesia, that would be the structure. So the structure which is provided by particular institution, the structure or syllabus criteria which is provided you particularly from anywhere, like from government or whosoever you are following, things would be molded and designed according to that. Definitely, I talked about the technology integration. That is also possible. That depends up to the designer and developer of the material, how he is going to integrate that thing into it. I evaluated my material with the help of different tests. I integrated different activities in between the activities of learning language, learning that reading task. And at the end, there were, different tasks which were giving me hint about either students have learned from it or not. So those were also designed. From the very beginning till the end, analysis and evaluation goes along with the learning procedure. Hope answered?
Okay. Thank you so much for your answers. Can I have one more question?
Yes,
Sure,
please.
sure,
Don't worry.
Okay.
Sure.
Is it necessary to explain the students in the very beginning of the class about the criteria of assessment?
Yes, because what you are going to assess, you are going to assess whatever you have taught them, what you have provided them. So assessment is not to make students confused. It is what they have learned so far. So we are going to assess it. We are going to check it. Isn't it?
Yes.
This is what we have taught. Now we are going to assess either the strategies and activities and material and the things, the pedagogy we have used so far was worthwhile, was really taught them what was targeted to teach them or not. So this is what from their performance we are going to get this idea. So definitely the assessment criteria, the assessment strategies and the things should be very much clear to students that they are going to be assessed by this and that. So they have to perform accordingly. So the instructions should be clear to them about the assessment. Okay. It is about, to check their performance, not to confuse them.
Okay, thank you so much.
Most welcome.
Right, thank you very much for your questions, Ma'am Rahma, and also of course, the answer from Dr. Shahiba. And this is going to be last questions for Dr. Shahiba before she moved to another university.
Yeah.
This is the questions coming from Zelmi Widyati. The question is how to integrate the materials with the appropriate technology and students' need in designing ELT.
Come again, please.
How to integrate, or you can see in the chat, how to integrate the materials with the appropriate technology and students' need in designing ELT.
Okay, is it this question, is it possible to use a ready use material instead of developing it?
Yeah,
Is this
I
the question
guess.
you're asking me?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
Okay. Okay, the question is it possible to use a ready-use material instead of developing it? See, I already explained the difference between authentic and non-authentic material. One is authentic, which is provided to us everywhere. Like if you just go to internet, you will find so many things around you. But if you are going to just, pick up anything without thinking about what is the requirement of your context, you are teaching to kids, you are teaching to adults, you are teaching to medical students, you are teaching to engineering students, that material definitely would not help you out. You have to adopt and then you have to adapt it. You have to make it non-authentic. You can pick up the material, ready-made material. There are multiple things provided. You can pick up them, but you have to make their lesson plans according to your context need, your learner's needs, that you have to mold and you have to modify it, because that, one set cannot fits for all. There is a need to, modify it, and not exactly redevelop, but you can modify. That can be the material, that can be the skill, or that can be the pedagogy which you are using for using that authentic material. Another part of this question is that since developing a material is a long and rigorous process for a teacher, yes, of course, if it is possible, what are the things a teacher needs to consider to use a ready-use material? See, for ready-use material, the material is in front of you. Activities are in front of you. The tasks are in front of you. The half, procedure is already done. Now, what you have to do here, you have to understand first the criteria. You have to understand the learner's needs. You have to understand the, your contextual needs. And accordingly, you can pick and choose. It's not something which you are going to redesign or redevelop, but you have to pick and choose things which are helpful for your context, for your learners, for your teaching and learning situation. That would definitely, cut and help you out, and cut the timing of which will be needed for developing a wholly solely new material. But again, I would say that when you are going to develop, definitely it is time-taking thing, but that is more helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And yeah, I hope the answer, will be clear for the for Zelmi. And I right, still got a question. Is it possible to?
Yeah, I'm
answer
looking
this
at the
question?
questions as well, easily.
It will help me out for my teaching material design. Right. Good. Right. So you're gonna answer these questions, or?
I guess there isn't any question now, what I can see.
Is it possible to see ready use material instead of developing seeds development? Yeah, but I think the answer.
There is a question from Zelmi. How to integrate the material with the appropriate technology and a student's need in designing ELT. Okay, integration of technology always needs, to some extent, your knowledge regarding technology integration. It is not something which you are just supposed to, fascinating technology or fascinating gadget you have brought into the class and then you are going to teach with that. It is something which you know how to deal with that, right? So as I shared my experience that because it was my part of my research. So I researched so far that what technology gadget or what technology element actually is not yet been used for teaching and learning reading comprehension. So I researched on it and found that weblog was used for teaching and learning speaking and writing a lot, but yet not used for reading. So in a way, just I followed it and then use it and then developed it accordingly. That can help me out to use it in my teaching and learning reading class as well. So how would you, use the technology? I introduced over here the summer model also. Summer model is saying that while we are using PPTs right now, as we are using, right now, this is a webinar, we are using technology. This is one of the way to integrate technology in your classes. See, the 100+ students cannot sit in one class, and if they are sitting, it's called a large class. And handling a handling a large class is very difficult. So there can be multiple, problems. But in a way, as we are right now having a class, this is sort of a class. This is sort of, discussion forum. We are sharing our ideas. We are discussing. You are asking me questions. I'm replying your questions. But that is a bit difficult while 100+ students are in a school, in a class or in a university context. So to reply to everyone, and that there would be, noise, and there are multiple other things as well. So managing all the things would be difficult in a way. But this technology is helping us to modify that classroom into this classroom now. And we are having such type of, the learning is going on. So integration of technology is not, we cannot say that it is impossible or it is difficult. It needs some efforts that you have to understand which one technology resource.
Yeah, so that's all the answers, Dr. Shahida. Okay, right. Hopefully the answer can, from Dr. Shaiba can our internet problem, right? Okay, I got a message from Dr. Shaiba about the internet problem there. So yes, she's answered the question so far, I guess. And thank you very much for the answer from Dr. Shaiba. And this is also, according to Dr. Shaiba, I think is very important about related to her presentation. ELT, teaching materials, is not only about to teach the students, but more than that, to encourage and to boost our students' English ability. So this is based on Dr. Shahiba's presentation. I think it can give you, new insight and new knowledge related to your design and teaching materials development project. So I'm going to say thank you very much to Dr. Shahiba for her valuable presentation this time, because she had to move to another university to give a lecture. So that's why she has to finish her meeting with us today. But don't worry, we still have a third speakers for today. And for our last but not least speaker, we have Sir Zulfikar MAT Sol. He's originally from Aceh Besar, Nanggro Aceh Darussalam, and he graduated his bachelor degree from IAIN Araniri Banda Aceh. All right, I'm gonna pin. Okay, now here he is. Then he continued his master's degree in Arkansas Tech University, USA, with Fulbright Master Degree Scholarship Program. He is also the alumni of Fulbright's Global Undergraduate Scholarship Program from Minnesota State University, Mankato, USA. And about his work experience, he has experience not only in formal education, but also in informal education. So I think it's going to be important for our sharing today related on the teaching materials development, because as we know, we are, as an English teacher or the English teacher's candidate, not only will teach for formal education institution in the future, but maybe they can focus on informal education like private course or private education institution. So I think in this very great opportunity, we'll got some new knowledge from Sir Zulfikar. So I think that's the short explanation or introduction from me about Sir Zulfikar and ATSOL. So this time is going to be your time, Sir Zulfikar, please.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, Mr. Arif. And it's a great pleasure, actually, for me to be able to share the stage with Dr. Sahiba, who has just left us here, and with Mrs. Hilma from UIN Bukit Tinggi, and of course with Mr. Arif himself. Yeah, I am with Ms. Hilma, currently participating in a program, academic enrichment program, which is held in Winfast Bengkulu. And Arif approached me and informed me about this opportunity. I think this was a very rare and interesting opportunity to be able to present alongside a well-known educator from Iraq, from Pakistan, and to be able to meet you all guys here, and also to say hi and greet my students who from Mandailing Natal probably have been missing me for these 2 months, or probably not. Okay, so let me share my screen with you guys. Okay. Okay, so this is me. My name is Zulfikar. Zulfikar and Zulfikar only. I don't have first name or last name basis. My parents decided not to use that naming basis for me. I'm currently working as a lecturer of English. My specific is in grammar and structure. My current institution is Mandailing Natal State College for Islamic Studies, or normally referred to as Stain Madinah, Stain Mandailing Natal, and that is in North Sumatra. Okay, I would like to particularly talk about how to incorporate e-content in your ELT materials. But first of all, I'd like to invite you to think a little bit outside of the box. Let's think in a broader sense of becoming an English teacher. I've had experience working as an English teacher, not only in a public university, public institution, public schools, but also I got a chance to work with computer programmers who learn English because they needed English to communicate with their clients from Australia, from Singapore, from many other parts of the world. And the way they learn English and the way they wanted me to teach them English is very different from the way we are expected to teach English in classroom, and this is the real life of learning English. So when you think of the expression of learning English, let's not just think about teaching English at schools, teaching English at public school, teaching English at universities. Let's also take into account teaching English in non-formal institution. And to be honest, normally they pay you better. Non-formal institution normally pay you better. And that was the best payment I've ever had in my life, working for the private institution back then. It was in 2018, yeah, before I decided to move to my current institution. So what I had learned before throughout my, 20 years of learning how to teach English was becoming almost useless when I arrived at this institution, the formal institution that I was talking earlier, because they wanted me to really use all the resources. And they are not talking about these books, handouts. They are not talking about physical realia, but they are talking about using internet, blended learning, or online learning, if you will, to help their students to succeed in their learning. So, and this trend has also become common in our formal institution, not only university level, but also in high school level. What you are expected now is to provide authentic materials, and authentic materials depends on the context where the language is taught. But one common thing that you will find everywhere is that your student will always have the tendency to be engrossed in technology. A simple example is their mobile phones. Probably you noticed that already. Even if you say that the school is not well equipped with the facilities that will support e-learning, every student will still have a mobile phone. That means they will have access to internet. They will have internet access, even if the school is not equipped with Wi-Fi. So it's still possible for you to incorporate the element of electronic content, or the element of e-content, as I refer to, as I like to refer to the term, in your lesson plan, in your ELT material. And I would like to talk about some resources that you can use, that you can probably adapt and adopt and include it in your ELT material. Because that's the reality of learning in 21st century. Learning by using only your textbook has become obsolete. It's no longer relevant, because when your students graduate, what they will find is completely different from what they learn, from what they read in the textbook. They will have to face with computers. They will have to face with internet, which opens access, which becomes the window to every other parts of the world from that. And they will learn a lot of things that they don't learn in the textbook. That's the reality of 21st century education. That's why you have to plan the awareness for them of how to learn and to be to be used to the development of the technology in 21st century. So education is being digitalized in 21st century. The simplest example of the digitalization of education is the use of computer. And when I say computer, don't think about the large screens, laptop in front of your desk. No, your phone is considered a computer. Basically, technically, it's a computer. Yeah. Your calculator is a computer. Technically, it's a computer. You no longer count by using your fingers. You count by pressing buttons. That's the simplest example of digitalization of learning. And that also happens not only in math. It happens also in English. There has been a major transformation in teaching and learning resources are acquired. So the way the students are taught and the way we teachers prepare the materials have changed drastically because of the technology. We no longer have to, bring stacks of books with us into the classroom. No. You just need to bring this to your classroom and you are good. Your student no longer have to bring, heavy bags with tons of textbook. No, that has changed. Those are things in the past. Things in the present are you are learning from here, and your student learn it from here. Okay, you will probably wonder what's the difference, which we will address later in our presentation. The nature of sharing, storage, and dissemination information has dramatically changed. So the information sharing, the transfer of information has become borderless and has become timeless because of the technology, because of the development of technology. And that has given birth to what we call ICT, or information and communication technology. And not only in education, ICT has also shown its influence in English language teaching. ICT has changed the prevalent learning method of English across the globe. So you have to go back and review your teaching methodologies that you probably learned in your teaching methodology course and ask yourself, are they still relevant to the development of technology nowadays? Is my communicative approach is still relevant to the development of technology today? If my direct method that I'm going to apply in my classroom is still relevant to the development of technology today, to the students' needs, to the students' objective, to the institutional requirements from you and from your students? Ask yourself this question, because ICT provides unprecedented opportunities to learn, to teach, and to use English authentically. I would like you to underline the word authentic here. You have been, I've told you before that you are bringing your phones everywhere with you. Your phones is like a part of you right now. You cannot let it slip away from your head, from your hand, and from your head. So this easy access to technology in form of handphones have given you unprecedented opportunity. Hang on. To use English authentically. You learn, you watch people use English on YouTube. You write in English to share your story on Instagram. You tweet by using Twitter in English. You even text your friends in English. Some things that didn't happen in the future. That's why people call it foreign language in the past, because it's really foreign for them. They don't know when to use them outside of the classroom. They only have a chance to use them in the classroom. When they get out of the classroom, the language become foreign for them. But now, is it still foreign? I don't think so. It's no longer a foreign language. Probably it's quasi-second language for us now, because it's not that foreign anymore. Once you get out of the classroom, you will still find medium to use your English. You type, you comment, and you send your feed to your friends in English. Or if you're Arabic student, you type and comment and send feed to your friends by using Arabic. So you still use them outside of the classroom. So it's not that foreign anymore, in a way. And incorporating ICT in ELT is essential. Therefore, yeah. Okay, and the development of ICT in English learning has also given birth to what we call e-learning, which stands for electronic learning. But we have to differentiate between the term e-learning and online learning, even though sometimes they are used interchangeably. Online learning, some people, when they say online learning, they mean e-learning, but there is actually a difference between them. E-learning normally refers to a process of learning by using electronic technology as a means of presenting and distributing information, while most of the process of learning that takes place with the help of the internet is often referred to online learning. So that's the difference. Okay, some examples of digital technologies that you can probably incorporate in your syllabus in a broader sense and in your lesson plan in a smaller scale. The first one is try to incorporate the use of PC or laptop or notebook. If your students have access to PC, laptop, notebook, or if your school have access to laboratories equipped with complete facilities such as PC, laptop, notebook, make sure that you use your opportunity, to explore the usage of PC, laptop, and notebook in your teaching. If your library in your school in the future, because Pak Arif told me that you are going to be participating in PPL in a very soon. So go to your school, make an observation. If the laboratory available, is the laboratory equipped with PC, laptop, notebook? If yes, then make a plan, make a section in your syllabus, in your lesson plan, when you are going to go to the laboratory and you are going to use the PC, laptop, or notebook available there to help you teach, to help your student learn. And even if you don't have that kind of luxuries in teaching, you can still have access to digital video, still camera. You can probably, bring a computer screen to your school, or if you have your own TV, the school has its own TV, you can arrange a day where you can use it in your classroom, play a video. Or the most simple one is by using mobile phone. Okay, we'll talk about how to incorporate them in detail later. And of course, if you have access to internet, you can use World Wide Web, and also email and instant messaging, digital libraries, and virtual reality. I'm pretty sure that you are all very familiar with all these terms. Email and instant messaging. Instant messaging, that I mean here is such application as WhatsApp. What else? Telegram, for example. Digital libraries here means libraries that contains ebooks that you can borrow by registering yourself as a member, which means when you lend a book from digital library, what you will receive is not a physical book, but this ebook that you can access from your gadget, from your phones, from your tablet, or from your PC. And virtual reality. Well, we talk about virtual reality, we're talking about metaverse, learning by immersing yourself in a different world that give you a new experience in learning. Okay, so here I'm going to talk about some aspect of technologies that you can incorporate to your ELT classroom. First, mobile apps. There are numerous apps that support the development of vocabulary, grammar, and communicative English. I'm pretty sure that some of you have already had these apps on your phones. If you feel that one of those apps have given you some improvement in your English, why not guide it? Why not guide your students to have the same experience as you? Why not guide them to use the same apps as you? I've been using a vocabulary apps, namely Oxford Dictionary. I've been using a vocabulary app named Longman Dictionary throughout my learning time, and I've had great experience and great impression with them. So right now, I always try to encourage my students to install one of those in their mobile phones, because they will help them. There are also apps that makes assessment more fun and enjoyable. We're going to talk about what apps that I mean very soon, because part of learning is making an assessment. And as the previous presenters have already told us, you can make an assessment. You probably will have to make an assessment before the class, or probably you will have, and absolutely you will have to make an assessment after the class. And sometimes people, when they think about an assessment, they will think about tests. They will think about pressure. They will think about score. They will think about a lot of negative feelings that they are normally associated with tests. But with technology, tests can sound fun. Tests can sound enjoyable. We'll talk about that in a bit. And video streaming, like what we are doing now. Videos in the classroom help create clear and complete illustration for learners. You can download a video from YouTube to help give a support for your own explanation. You can even use a video from internet resource as the main resource for your instruction, because that will give them a clearer and a complete illustration for learners. Compare the use of video with the use of picture. Long time ago, people still use picture, normally referred to as realia in English. But nowadays, are they still relevant? We have easier access to videos. We can download videos, we can watch videos from here, any types of videos we want. So is it still relevant to still use picture or realia? And of course, when I say video, what crosses your mind is probably the most famous video streaming website in the world called YouTube. And yes, if you know how, you can probably have access to tons of videos that can help you learn and as well as teach your students at the same time from this YouTube. So use them because they are free. You don't have to pay any amount of your money, and your student doesn't have to pay any amount of their money to learn from YouTube. Social media. Okay, now social media, when they are associated with learning, normally people will associate it with the negative impact it normally brings to learning, especially if we talk about, you know, the values, especially in cultural values in our community. But they are not always negative. Social media have become inseparable parts of our life. Not only you, it has become inseparable part of your students. Social media are us. So don't ban them, embrace them, use them as your resource to teach your students, incorporate them in your lesson plan. Because one of the benefit of social media is that they can get all the students involved in learning. And what I mean involved is that the student, the student become aware that this is their real life. This is the authentic material that they are dealing every day. This is the authentic material that they are going to use every time in their life. This is the authentic material that they are going to use to practice their English. So they become involved. They know that it's authentic. It's their real life. This is their real needs. They have the purpose of learning English because they can show it off on their social media. So they have the reason to learn English. Okay, the next one is video conferencing. One of the very useful elements of video conferencing is that it enables you to interact with people from across the world. Imagine if you are teaching English, if you can invite a native speaker, if you have a friend from foreign countries, you can invite them to give presentation to your students by holding a video conference like this. So your student will have another authentic experience with native speakers. Invite them to have video conference with your student. That is not possible in the past, but now it's possible because of the availability of internet and online learning itself. Okay, so your parts of your lesson plan is going to look like this. These are the lesson plan that I was expected to use when I was teaching English. And generally, they look the same, not only in public institution, but in formal institution, you are going to be expected to use the same pattern. First, it's going to start with the pre-assessment, and then there will be objective or goals. Followed by anticipatory set, and then direct instruction, guided practice, guided small group, and then debrief. Okay, here I have made some lists of the application that you can use for each stages of pre-assessment. For example, in pre-assessment, you can use Kahoot. I'm not going to explain and go into detail how Kahoot is used and what application Kahoot is, because probably the time will not be enough. So I really suggest that you take a note on this application, and later after this presentation, probably you can go and explore by yourself this application that I am presenting here. The first is Kahoot, and then we have quizzes, and then we have Go Formative, and then we have Google Form. They have the same objective. They can be used as a pre-assessment. You can use them to create quiz. You can use them to create a need analysis for your student, where your student belong, check their status, what information do they need to know, what the information they have already know, and then you can then proceed to give your instruction after using this pre-assessment at the beginning of your class. I'm sure that some of you are probably already familiar with my Kahoot. With Kahoot, I have already used Kahoot several times in my classes with my students in universities. And in the objective or goal stage, or normally referred to as I can statement, this is the next step of your lesson plan after the pre-assessment, where you are showing your performance expectation or give a framework to your student in relation to the standard or skill they are expected to understand. You can use Google Slides. You can use Microsoft PowerPoint, or if you have access to MacBook, you can use Keynote. They are all used to make lists to highlight the important detail, the main point that you need the student to understand in your instruction. So if you are thinking about becoming a teacher, if teacher is your career inspiration, start thinking about how to be familiar with this at least 3 software in your teaching. And then after you make an objective, stating your objective, you have to develop your student background knowledge. You have to activate their prior knowledge before they go and learn about the actual instruction, the actual new lesson in the classroom. How? Well, if you go the conventional way, that will not be inspiring. That will be probably boring. But if you use YouTube, if you use Google Images, chances are your student will be more attracted. Chances are your student will be more amazed, and they probably will be more involved in your learning. And after you make background knowledge, you activate their background knowledge, you give them direct instruction. Well, you can give direct instruction yourself, but that is not what is expected from you as a teacher nowadays, because you should minimize your portion in teaching, and you have to encourage the student to discover what they have to learn by themselves. And you can use these apps here, these websites here, to stimulate that. You can try and use Currikey. And the Currikey is an online sharing website where students and teachers normally share their resources. If you are interested in looking at someone's syllabus or someone's lesson plan, you can go to Currikey. Some of them are free, so you can access them, and you can adapt and adopt them with your need and your students' need, of course. And OER Commons, this a website has the same platform, the same organization as Curriki. They are basically free resource sharing websites in which you probably as teacher or you probably as students can share your resources and allow everyone else to have access to what you are sharing. And when you, even if you are presenting by yourself, you can make your presentation more encouraging, more interactive by using such application as Prezi. Prezi is an application that is based on motion and then zoom feature and also moving information that will help us concentrate instead of just using a conventional PowerPoint or slide by slide presentation. Google Slides, if you want to try something new, you can use Google Slides. The thing about Google Slides is that after the presentation, after you make a presentation, you can allow your student to modify or to add, or even together in your classroom, you can create the slides that will be suitable for the whole class by using Google Slide. Everyone will have access to Google Slide in the classroom. And then you can, of course, use Microsoft PowerPoint. But of course, Microsoft PowerPoint nowadays are even becoming obsolete. People have starting to left them behind because there have been a lot of other new websites, new softwares that allow more interactive and more eye-catching a presentation of instruction in the classroom. And then if you are the type of teachers who like to explore different ways and different strategies in teaching different aspects of English, you can try teachthis.com. So this website is pretty much like Curriki or OER Commons website that I was talking earlier, but this website is specifically English website, English learning website, where you can learn English in a fun way. You know, they have games, they have a lot of role play that you can adopt and use in the classroom. Some of them are not free though, but you can always try and find resources they are provided for free, and they are managed based on the level. So you can choose what resources are suitable for your grades. For example, if you are teaching intermediate student, you can go and find lesson plan that can go along well with the level of the student you are teaching. You can also find elementary level of lesson plan, and then intermediate, and even advanced level lesson plan from teachthis.com. Okay, and after that you go to guided practice. So after you present your instruction, so or helping a student discover the material that you that they have to learn for the day, you guide them through a practice. And normally what teacher do before is just giving them handout containing question that they will need to answer, paper and pen exercise, or probably drill, something like that will not be interesting. Students nowadays will not find that interesting, but probably they will find it interesting if you incorporate the element of technology there in the practice. Probably you can use BlueKit. Now I'm sure you probably are questioning yourself, what's BlueKit? As I said earlier, take some of your time later, go to Google BlueKit, go to the website and learn how they are used and how they can be incorporated in your classroom. Or Kahoot and quizzes and Google Form. Let me explain a little bit about Kahoot and quizzes if you are probably not familiar. This is a very fun learning platform. You can probably design your quiz, your pre-test, your post-test, or even your final test by using Kahoot. If you want a more interactive test, so you can answer it together in a classroom, there will be slight competition. You will display the question on the board, for example, by using a projector, and then the student can answer by using their mobile phone or by using their computer, and the score is displayed real time. So you can see who is on top, who is the second top, and who is the third top. So the student will have a sense of competition, and it was fun because there will be a lot of, fancy pictures, fancy trophies, stars, and it's fun. And music is also fun. So your learning experience is different. It's not only learning from textbook, but you also learn from interacting online with other students. And then Google Form. This is the simplest form of online or content that you can probably adopt in your classroom. You will find later that you will have a lot of classes that you will have to deal with. You will have a lot of students that you will have to take care of, and that will require a lot of your time. And you can, make it more efficient. You can, allow yourself some rest time by adopting Google Form in your classroom. You can, disseminate exercise by using Google Form. You can disseminate midterm exam, for example, by using Google Form. I'm using this currently because I'm away from my students, but I'm still doing online classes. So I normally give them exercise tests by using Google Form. Why? Because it's not only easy for me, but also for the students. So I provided the feedback along with the question that I asked to answer. So when I have checked the answer, I send the answer back to them, and they will have feedback of which answer is correct, of which answer is incorrect. So you don't have to address each student separately. So you can address each of them at the same time by giving the same feedback that they can access probably from their phones, from their computer, or from the internet that they have at schools. After the guided practice, you go and create a small group for independent practice. And don't forget, small group. Make sure that your student always learn in pair or in small group. Make sure there is a session in your classroom later where your student will learn together, because collaborative learning together has well been researched by a lot of experts in English, and it's proven to be able to facilitate learning better than learning by being taught by teachers. Okay, the purpose of a small group is to make a personalized and collaborative learning. You can use Google Docs. The thing about Google Doc is that everyone can add their opinion and everyone can add their ideas at the same time. If we have one Google Doc and we have 5 students, all 5 students have the same access to the Google Doc, the one Google Doc. They are working together. This is good website, good application to be used when they are working as a group, especially if they are working in a long or semester-long project. Okay, you can also use Google Slides. Looks pretty much like PowerPoint. Or if you want a more interactive or more colorful presentation or platform, you can use Canva, and it's free. Some of the design in Canva are free, even though there are, of course, a lot of others are will charge you for accessing them. But a lot of beautiful design that are available on Canva are free, so you can pretty much adapt and adopt them again for your classes. And at the end of your classes, remember, you need to make an assessment. You have to make an assessment of how much your student have discovered for the day. And to make an assessment, you can make a test probably. You can make a test by using Kahoot. You can make a test by using quizzes or Go Formative or even Google Form, as I said earlier. Now, all this application, all this platform give easy assessment for us, the teacher, and easy feedback for us to give to the students. So the student can receive feedback directly from us, and the student can receive feedback even from each other. because they learn this, because they answer this directly. They see how other students approach one particular question, because the answers are displayed on the screen. Okay, so those are some applications that you can probably use or think about incorporating them in your lesson plan. You probably are wondering, what am I going to do if my schools are without access to internet? Well, probably if we think of internet as a Wi-Fi connection, of LAN or LAN connection, that probably will not be available in a lot of schools, especially in rural areas in Indonesia. But if you think of internet connection as mobile phone, no, I'm not so sure that everyone doesn't have that. Even students in remote area will still have access to mobile phone, which means they probably have some access to internet, and that's where you can manipulate or use the phone to your benefit, to your students' benefit, to help them learn by using the phone. Because remember, even if you want to stay away from this technology in your classroom, the chances are the technology will take your classroom away from you. My experience, long time ago, I'm one of the lecturers that strictly prohibited the use of phones in my classroom. But what I learned was that my student, when I give them a text to read, for example, what they do is just they use their mobile phone, they take a screenshot, and they translate everything into Indonesian by using their mobile phone. And that's not learning. And I don't want that to happen. So then I thought, okay, I'm going to allow them to use phone, but I'm not going to allow them to do that again. But I'm going to find a way to use this technology to my benefit. Otherwise, if I don't use the technology to take the students' attention, technology is going to use me to take the students' attention away from me. Okay, so in my conclusion, information and communication technology provides a variety of presentation of content that can enhance ELT teaching and learning experience. And e-content, and what I mean by e-content here is electronic or online content, immerses learners in a multimedia environment, transforming what would otherwise be an uninspiring experience. Thank you for your attention. Now I'll return it back to Pak Arif. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and thank you very much, Sir Zulfikar, for the very great presentation. Yeah, I'm really sure our students, our participants here get a lot of things from your presentation, and will be better for them if they have more questions to Sir Zulfikar, and of course to Ma'am Hilma as well. And right, so in this time we're going to open the question and answer session for all of the participants. Right, all of you guys can ask directly to the speakers related to, I don't know, maybe you have a personal project or personal experience, or you have some project planning to your PPL or your teaching practicum next semester related to related to instructional design, media, or something else that's going to be related on our discussion today. Yes, please, or you can type it in the chat column. So if you don't mind, I will read your questions, please. Right, ladies and gentlemen, please. Atau semua mungkin terkesima ya tadi after the presentation from Sir Zul tadi. Sampai tidak bisa berkata apa-apa. Alright, okay, we got the questions in the chat. Right, if we continue to use technology in learning and students try to answer every questions or assignment given by looking at what's on the internet without trying to answer with their knowledge, what can we do if they just continue or rely on technology without even thinking about the slightness, effortness to answer? Is that a negative thing? Yeah, the question is not directly to second speaker or third speaker, but I think in this time, up to you, Ma'am Hilma or Sarzul will give the answer based on these questions, please. The question is coming from Haira.
Yeah, Hera is one of my students in STEM Madinah, Pak Arif.
Ah, I see, right. So, yeah, maybe Sarzul can give answer. After that, Ma'am Hilma can also give like her perception about these questions, please.
Yeah, thank you for the question, Haira. This is the one of the findings that I encountered while trying to use ICT in my classroom. So one of the one of the apps that I am using in my classroom is WhatsApp. I think this is very simple. Almost every lecture in universities or every teacher in the classroom now has their own group dedicated to each class that they teach. And I also have this. So I normally share a lot of resources through this WhatsApp. So I'm going to have a listening class next week. So I will share the audio through my WhatsApp because I realized that in my classroom there is no speaker available. So instead of bringing my own speaker, I will send them the audio ahead so they can listen ahead at home. And I will allow some amount of time for them to re-listen in the classroom before we go to the listening exercise. This is what I normally do in my WhatsApp group. I also send them for my grammar class. I also send them some questions that they probably will have to research at home before making a presentation in the classroom. What I actually mean by my students doing research is that they try to find the answer either from the books, from the internet, about the possible solution for a question. But what happens sometimes is that when students don't try to find the explanation, but they try to find the key answer from the internet. And some websites do provide the key answers. And I've told my students many times that if you depend on internet too much for your answers, is that internet will guide you the wrong way. But try not to find the key answer on internet, but try to explain a possible explanation for the answer that we are dealing with. Because otherwise, that will be a negative thing. Yes, that is a negative thing. If you use internet to find the answer, the key answer of the questions that your teacher is asking you, there will be a negative thing. But if the internet can help you to think critically, to gain different perspective, to gain different point of view of an issue that your teacher is presenting you, then internet will be positive thing. You probably have an answer of how a question may be approached, but you want to know how other can approach or answer this question. You can probably go and find a different answer on internet. But if you go to the internet to find the answer and you believe that that is the only correct answer, and that is a negative thing. So use internet wisely. Don't use them to find the answer or Google the answer that your teacher is asking you, because they will not make you learn. They will make you dependent, over dependent, and overly reliant on the internet when it comes to tests, when it comes to feedback, when it comes to giving showing off your mastery to your teacher. So yes, Hera, depending too much on internet, using them to find answers is a negative thing. Don't use them to find the answers, but use them to help them to arrive at the answers on your own. That is, I think, the answer, Pak Arif.
Okay, thank you very much for the answer, Sir Zulfikar. That's very clear, I think, based on the questions from Haira. Right, maybe Ma'am Hilma want to give additional answer or perspective about this?
Yeah, I think it's the same with what Pak Zulfikar said just now. If it depends on the ICT, it means it also depends on the electricity. So if we depend it a lot to the ICT or electricity, it means when the electricity is off, it means it bother you when doing a teaching learning process. So do not depend on the ICT that much. Just use it improperly. That's
right.
the answer.
Yeah, I agree with that. Totally agree with that. Thank you very much, Ma'am Hilma. This is the next question. So they just type the questions in the chat. From Asmaul Husna, is there any main problems or obstacles in using ICT in e-learning apart from internet connection problems? So of course, I think this can be related to the teaching materials development. If we develop or design the teaching materials based on the ICT or in e-learning and ELT. So what do you think about the others problems apart from the internet connections, Ma'am Hilma?
What is the answer for Lure Etika, sir?
Asmaul Husna.
Asmaul Husna. The main problems. I said I already mentioned it just now. The question is about the main problems. Is that a question?
Yes, maybe based on your experience, you can share about it.
Okay. Okay. Most of the main problems of applying ICT in the classroom is about the tool itself, the computer itself, and also the internet provided at school, and also the teacher's ability in integrating the material to the internet inside the classroom. I think that is the most important, being the main problems of integrating the ICT in e-learning. The teachers is not trained enough in using the ICT, so it's hard for them to explain the material in brief to the students. Just take a look at the example of using. Do not say that this is the ICT. Just using the projector inside the classroom. It takes a lot of time for the teachers to connect the projector to the in front of the classroom, and it takes time for the students to explain the material. So sometimes the projectors help, but sometimes not. So that's why maybe if you are master enough in using the ICT or the electricity inside the classroom, just use it. But it's not the main reason for you to use the ICT. The most important things, ICT is important. The most important is you deliver the material in proper way. Do not forget that you have 4 core competence in the curriculums. Do not focus on delivering the material only, but focus on the other competencies. So that's my answer, sir. Because there are so many problems if we
actually
deal with the
that
ICT
sounds very simple, right? The problems, and I think I got your point. So the teachers should be familiar to the ICT or if they want to do or to use ICT in their teaching learning process. And sometimes it can be a problem where they do not really familiar with the tools and how to run that tool sometimes. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and the time you waste your time if you just focus on using the ICT only inside the classroom.
Yes, yes, yes. That's really wonderful. Right. For maybe Sir Zulfikar want to give additional answer with these questions, please.
Yeah, Pak Arif. Yeah, sometimes teachers are not trained enough in the use of ICT. This has been a common phenomenon, unfortunately, in our teacher education. Students are very much faced with a lot of expectations, but unfortunately, the adoption of the technology, the consideration technology has become inseparable part of our community, of our life, is taken for granted. So that's why people only care about how to understand theories or how to understand the materials, but they don't know that probably when it comes to real life, what they learn at school probably is not going to be relevant in their real life because of technology. What they are learning at school is probably true in their context, but probably it's not true in different contexts. And this is what's missing in our teacher education probably. And that's why normally when we have graduates from teacher education department, they will probably have a very good concepts of, teaching pedagogies and things like that. But they will find it difficult to really find ways to integrate technology in their teaching, because once they know how to use technology in their teaching, they will find that it will give them tons of benefits. It will give their students tons of benefits. Students can learn not only at school, students can learn also at home. And this is the continuous learning that we've been learning as in teacher education department. But we force our students to learn continuously, but we don't provide them the medium to do that. We only give them handouts to read at home, and this doesn't work, especially to Generation Z's that we are dealing with recently. So I think more trainings on the adoption of technologies in education should be implemented. That's it, I think, Arif.
Yes, absolutely agree with that. This is going to be our last questions maybe in this meeting from Luri Atika. What do you think, sir, if a teacher should master video editing for learning media? And what if the teachers cannot do it? Because sometimes it's very difficult for us to find a video related to our learning material, sir, while we also have to be a professional teacher. So with our phenomena now, with the ICT technology and the connection between ELT and technology, so the teachers need to, is that the teacher need to master like the competency or skills such as a video editing? So what do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Sarzul or Mem Hilma? Give
I think this is for Pak Zul. This Lura Etika mentioned Mr. here, so this is for Pak Zul.
Okay, let's see. If a teacher should master video editing for learning media, that's not really okay. Let's get back to the presentation from our previous presenters. First, you're going to have to make a net analysis. You don't have to force something that your student don't need in your classroom, and you don't have to force something that you yourself are not capable to do in your classroom. Otherwise, there will be interrupting you yourself. There will be an obstacle for you. But think about what your students need and what you can offer them. Don't think about what your students need and trying to find a way to offer it to them in a difficult way, but try to find a way to offer them in an easy way. If you think video editing is going to make your life even harder, try to find something else. Find an already prepared video. Find already readily available material that can help you. And they are always available online. They are always available, by going or visiting website that I showed you earlier. So instead of, stressing yourself, learning new skills when you realize that you don't have that much resource in your hand, why do that? But if you think that that skill is going to be necessary for you, that it's going to be a supporting element of your career, then it's worth learning. Of course, it's worth learning. If you think video editing is going to be one of them, you're going to have to learn it. Okay. What if the teacher can't do it? Because sometimes it's very difficult for us to find video related to our learning materials, while we also have to be a professional teacher. Again, remember what I was telling you earlier is that it's not always in form of video. There are always different ways and different types of materials that you can always use. You can use PowerPoint presentation, you can use Quizlet, you can use Bluekit, you can use Bluekit, you can use Kahoot quizzes. There are a lot of tons of other resources that you need to explore. Don't just think about using video. Don't just think about creating videos. And even if you can't create your own videos, I think, why do you have to create your own video if you can go to YouTube? What type of video can you find on YouTube? Nothing. You can find almost everything on YouTube. So there is no need to create your own video if you can find a video online. Okay. But it's always helpful to have, a side skill like, programming skill, video editing skill that will really add to your CV. That will make you, more selling to your prospective employer. But if you can't do that, then it's not worth it to force yourself to do that. Luri.
Right. Okay.
Okay, Pak Arif, I'm going to answer Rahmawati's questions. She sent me the message directly in my chat.
Right.
Okay,
Right. Sure,
Rahmawati,
please.
tell me about, would you please to share insight about the Merdeka curriculum and develop it into character-based learning? As far as I know, is Merdeka curriculum is for senior, for college students only, but Rahmawati told me, seems to me that Rahmawati just told me that Merdeka curriculum is also for senior and junior high school. Is it correct, Mr. Arif and also Mr. Zulfikar? As far as I know, that Merdeka Belajar, Kampus Merdeka is only for the college students only. It is for strengthens the soft skills and also the hard skill of the students after they graduated from the campus. That's that I know, Rahmawati. Tapi Rahmawati bilang tadi ada MBKM itu juga untuk anak SMA. Is it true, Mr. Zulfikar?
I'm currently being assisted at PGMI, Pendidikan Guru Madrasah Ibtidaiyah, and they are starting to socialize the curriculum Merdeka Belajar to us, to introduce to our students to Bu Ilma. So yes, probably we will also have to use them in lower level of school.
Okay, what part? Oh yeah, but maybe so. I need. Cannot start a video. Why? What happened? Cannot start a video. Failed to video camera. Please select another video. What happened? Okay. if the government already started MBKM for the junior or even the elementary school students, it will be great. But it means that the government also focus on the soft skills of the students. What I mean, when we connect it to the core competence that is stated in the curriculum of 2013, it means that the soft competence from the students is their divine values and also their social competence, the divine values and also the social values. So but yeah, but I need to tell you that Rahmawati here, because Rahmawati asked me the question, I need to tell you that the main success of the people is not on their ability in the piece of paper, such as what they get in GPA in their campus, right? Instead, it's in their what we call that. Can you hear me? Everyone is freeze on my everyone is freeze on my laptop. Okay. Okay. Yeah, our ability is not stated in a piece of paper. So when we see that the successful of the people is not stated in the piece of paper, we can see that. Have you ever seen that the people is really smart but they are not good in socializing with other people? Iya, Rahmawati, ada orang yang pintar tapi dia tidak terlalu pintar untuk bersosialisasi. Bahkan ada orang yang pintar bersosialisasi atau penerapan agamanya pun bagus, tapi dia tidak pintar gitu kan. Jadi tidak berterima secara utuh dalam masyarakat. Jadi yang bisa berterima utuh dalam masyarakat itu adalah keempat ini. Orang yang sukses, coba perhatikan orang-orang yang sukses dalam sekeliling kita, pasti dia memiliki keempat hal ini dalam kehidupannya. Jadi kalau kita hubungkan dengan what we stated in core competence in 2013 curriculum, that's the meanings of that character-based learning. I think that's the answer, Rahmawati. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much for the answer, Ma'am Gilma. And I think this is the end of our webinar today. And let me see all of you here. Okay.
What happened to my camera? Failed to start the video camera. Is there something wrong with my camera?
I'm not sure, ma'am. We're gonna check about that after this. Right, so thank you very much to all of the participants today, especially to our speakers today, Sir Zulfikar MAT Sol from Stain Madinah, Sumatera Utara, Ma'am Hilma from UIN Bukit Tinggi, and Assistant Professor Dr. Shahiba from Mehran University of Engineering and Technology, Pakistan, for today. And I'm sure this is a very great opportunity to sharing each other, and we already hear and listen really carefully related to the topics that presented by our speakers today, and hopefully the materials, the topics, will give you a new knowledge, new perspective related to the ELT teaching materials. And I'm sure this time will not enough to talk all about these topics in detail. So really hope in next moment, Sir Zulfikar and Hilma, and of course the Dr. Shahiba will have another opportunity to join in our next discussion. Really hope that moment.
Thank you, Pak Arif.
Yes, and of course to all of the participants, I would like to say congratulations to all of you, and of course good luck for your personal project and your next project in teaching practicum. And about the e-certificate, I'm going to share the certificates soon. And also maybe some of the participants also request the PowerPoint slide from the speakers. So I'm going to ask the speakers to share their PowerPoint slides, and I will share it in our WhatsApp group soon. So don't worry about that. And yes, have a nice day to all of you. Again, thank you very much for this moment, and for our speakers. It's such an honor to having you here. Thank you so much for your sharing, and yeah, good luck and have a nice day to all of you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Have a nice day, Pak Arif.
Waalaikumsalam
Waalaikumsalam.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Pak Arif.
Wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.